Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be sharing with you the Dose of Colors foundation in the shade 117. I have a light medium olive complexion, and I also picked up the sponge to see how that worked as well. This is the size of it before wetting. Now let's wet it. And this is the size of the sponge wet. It got significantly bigger. So I'm not going to put primer to my skin. I did put moisturizer on, but that was it. So let's see how this looks. I put a little under one pump on the back of my hand. I'm going to dot it on. I am having some breakouts and I have hyperpigmentation spot on my chin. So we'll see how that covers. Let's see how far this goes. It's definitely a medium coverage so far. It's covered up all my red spots and most of that hyperpigmentation on my chin. The sponge feels really, really good. Color match is really good, and the YouTuber Samage, I believe that's how you say her name, for the most part me and her are fairly the same shade matches for a lot of foundations, so that was a nice surprise when I saw her review of this and she's wearing this exact shade. So I feel like I did a really good job in picking my foundation shade from the online matches. I almost went really light and then really dark, but I'm glad I overall picked this one. I am just gonna do one more layer and see how that looks. Again, did the same amount, like 3/4 of a pump. So I'm just gonna put it on my spots I really want some coverage. I think I'm gonna wear it under my eyes as well, instead of having a concealer, and just see how that looks. Okay. I love the consistency of this. It reminds me a little bit of the YSL foundation, the All Hours. That's one of my favorites. I didn't think to kind of apply some of this with my hands, so let me do that now and just see how it blends with my fingertips. Go back to the sponge. Feels really nice on the hands. It has this gel-like consistency, and I really, really enjoy that. I love foundations that aren't liquidy, that way you can, if you wanted to, blend it in with your fingers. Because sometimes you can be in such a rush and you just are not trying to worry about having a brush or wet your sponge. You just need to kind of like grab and slap it on and go. So I do appreciate the way this feels with blending it in on my fingers, because sometimes you just are looking for that kind of coverage that you can blend with your fingers and it not look too crazy with streaks, or and you can also get like max pigmentation as well playing with your fingers instead of a sponge or even a brush to where you're having to buff it around. I really like the way that's looking on my skin. I'm just gonna go over it with a sponge now. I almost didn't pick this up and anticipating wanting the Charlotte Tilbury foundation that's coming out. But after watching reviews on this and how it looked on the skin, I just had to try it for myself. Oh, baby, I wanted you to be. Shayla's video really kind of like sold me on the consistency and how it looked like a satin matte but had that glow to it. just really intrigued me. My hyperpigmentation was completely covered. Looks really, really good. This is what it's looking like so far. I kind of don't even want to set it. I do have an oily T-zone with a kind of like normal perimeter of the face. I kind of don't want to set it. I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. I'll put it in speed, that way you can see kind of what the products I'm using. Completely dried down. And it still has that kind of like jelly feeling. But I honestly really like that. And I also picked up this cream matte eye color in the color Take a Hike. I had watched Melissa Alatorre's video and I just had to try it. I'm just gonna pop a little bit of this on my lids. I've seen looks to where this is used as an eyeliner and it looks stunning. I want to use it more as a base for any eyeshadow because I like usually going for those kind of like mustard browns. Putting this on top of my lid with the foundation, I can still feel that jelly kind of texture. It definitely feels set. I'm just going to take a little bit of this on a brush to do my lower lashes. Blend it out really, really smoothly. I'm just going to clean up my inner corner. That got a little messy. This feels so lovely on it. I just don't know how to explain how nice this feels on my skin. I don't think this has any like skincare benefits. It just feels really, really good on the skin. I will say that the consistency is similar to the Take a Hike, kind of like the cream matte eyeshadows. The consistency feels very similar to where it has that same kind of gel-like consistency, which I honestly really enjoy because it feels like it's not going to go anywhere, like it's not budging. So I really appreciate that. I do kind of want to see how things build up on top of it in the state that it's at right now. So let's just do that really quickly. What I'm going to do, just that way I can see how products respond on top of it, I'm going to try the Matchstick in Mocha for a cream contour. The consistency of this foundation, I probably would have had better results to just put it on a brush instead of directly on my face. But I guess this could be a test to how well this kind of application works. I'm just applying that, just buffing that out with my IT Cosmetics Dual-Ended brush. Just kind of stippling it on as I normally would. So far it's blending really beautifully. Like I said, the foundation feels set. It's not moving anywhere. I do kind of feel like adding some of this Fenty highlight. I've never used this on my face before. I feel like it'll tie in really nice with the eyeshadow we got going on. take it with the SEPHORA 99 brush. It's nice and blend it in. And I do have these mini MCGRATH kind of like lip stuff that I have picked up. So I'm going to put on the little mini MCGRATH balm. It's clear. And then I'm going to do the Glow Up Sheer Color Balm, also from MCGRATH. I always like to just run my fingers over, just to make sure I have no harsh lines. Since I do always get a little bit of foundation on my lips, just helps make sure that it's seamless. Still no creasing, even under the eyes. I am so happy with the way this is looking right now, and I hope this continues to look this way because it is so beautiful. I am actually going to put on some mascara just to kind of finish the look. This is supposed to be the non-flaking version of the Better Than Sex. I've actually never tried Better Than Sex. It just didn't look like my cup of tea. What I like to do is I shove my lashes in one direction, that way it kind of coats it. And then I brush it outward. It helps kind of like fan out my lashes just a little bit more. I'm just going to do one more coat. I'm satisfied with how that's looking. I am loving the way this look turned out. I look very hydrated. I actually do want to just add a little bit of this ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in Overboard to the upper and lower waterline. It's currently 10:16 a.m. and this is what my face is looking like. Again, I did not set whatsoever with powder. My under eyes are looking very good. I just brought the foundation up as my concealer. My smile lines have not creased whatsoever. It's just looking really good. I will check back in a couple hours to report how it's looking. Hi guys, back with a check-in. It's currently 1:24. This is what my skin's looking like. I can tell in my forehead that it's getting really shiny. So I'm just going to run the sponge over that. Again, I did not set my face and I didn't really feel like I needed to. I've been checking out my smile lines and there is none. There is no sinking of the foundation inside. I've even tried to smile and move my face a bunch to see if it would crease under my eyes as well, and it hasn't. Under my eyes have been looking really great. No complaints. So yeah, I just pat this to kind of like take down the dewiness from the oils peeking through. I am about to leave my house, so when I come back, which should be in an hour and a half or so, we'll see what the makeup is looking like in a little bit of heat. It is currently 90 degrees outside, so we'll see how well it lasts in actual outside heat. Again, this is what it's looking like so far. This right now is becoming my favorite foundation ever. It really does have that very gel-like feel to it Like, I don't know how to explain it beyond that. Like, it almost reminds me of the Farsali Glass Skin Serum, kind of how it kind of leaves your skin afterwards. I've never tried the Cover FX Gripping Primer or even the Milk Makeup one, so I don't know if it would be similar to those consistencies as well, of like the kind of tackiness that it leaves on your skin. It doesn't feel wet. Like, that's the only way I know how to describe it. It just has a nice feel to it, and I almost feel like that gel-like consistency that I'm feeling on my face is kind of what's helping with the movement that my face naturally makes, that it's not kind of like sinking into those lines because it's just moving with my face very naturally. So again, this is what my face is looking like for the 1 o'clock check-in. So right now it's been about 3-4 hours. My first check-in I believe was around 10, so 11, 12, 1, so yeah. It's 1:26 right now, so yeah, 3.5 hours or so into this makeup, and it's just looking really good. Even the, I know this isn't for that, but the Crystal Colored Cream eyeshadow that has a similar consistency is also holding up very, very well. It hasn't creased at all. I haven't put anything else on my lids besides the foundation and the cream, but even touching a cream, it feels similar to how the kind of foundation is setting. So with the combination of those two on my lids, I've had a really, really, really lovely result, and it glided on perfectly and felt very kind of like, again, tacky to touch, but in a very gel type of way, not in a type of sticky move around type of sensation. So yeah, till my next check-in. Hey guys, many minutes later, just a little over an hour of being outside. This is what the skin is looking like right now. It almost looks, I honestly can't see any difference. My forehead is not as shiny as the last check-in. As of right now, it is 5 hours into the wear test, and this is what it's looking like. I am about to step out again, so we'll see how it endures. Just heart pumping, moving around. I will say that my nose area looks so ridiculously smooth, especially around my nostrils. And I didn't want to mention this earlier just in case it was because of the mask that I use. I used the Ole Hendrix blue mask, the one that kind of like looks like a seafoam green. I used that all over my T-zone yesterday and today, and I really feel like it helps with my pore situation. And this foundation definitely makes the pore area look so flat, which I can really appreciate. Yeah, this foundation is just a winner all around. I love that I can just use this foundation and honestly no concealer or even primer, and it's looking this good. The only thing that I'm going to touch with the sponge is just around my nose area, because again, I do have an oily T-zone. Just touch up around right here. Yeah, that did nothing. So I did try to touch up around my nose, but it's just the dewiness of the foundation that I'm seeing when I look in my magnifying mirror. So honestly, it just looks, up close it just looks like dew, but that kind of can be mistaken as sweat, but it's not, because when I look at the mirror head on, not zoomed in, I look completely just radiant, not really shiny. Like, it almost looks like when I do a dewy mist, kind of how it gives that like radiance all over my face. When I use things like the L'Oreal Shake and Glow, I noticed that if I ever have to touch my face throughout the day for any reason, if I like try to move my hair out of my face or like behind my ears and I like poke my foundation, sometimes I'll notice that it'll kind of like pick up the foundation completely, or any kind of product that's on the cheek. So I will say with this, like, I definitely don't get any transfer. At the end of the night, I will check to see if it transfers, or to see like when I poke my face if it kind of like removes product. Like, you see how just flat they look?
It's crazy. No smile lines. I still cover it up, and you see that dew that you just see along my skin? That's all the foundation. Obviously, besides right here, that is the Trippin matchstick, but everywhere else, that's just the foundation. It's just beautiful, the way it makes your skin look and feel without looking wet or extremely dewy. I just love that so much. So right now it is 2:48. So I will check back when I get back. I am back for the last check-in of the day, 5:44 p.m. now. And this is what the makeup is looking like currently. Yeah. It's not settled into my smile lines. It's almost just like the texture of my smile lines is there, but it's not settled into them whatsoever. Let me just see if I do that. It'll make them go back. The way that I would explain the way this foundation feels is almost like when you do like a very hydrating sheet mask. So I've used ones from Sephora collection and even like the hydrating ones that they sell at, let me see if I have one. It almost reminds me of this serum right here. I got it from Ulta. This is like a rose sheet mask. Like it just feels like a serum, a really nice serum that just got left over on your skin. I didn't feel that at all on my face all today. This was the first time I've ever left the house since like I started doing makeup, before I kind of knew about setting powder and all that kind of stuff, that I've actually felt comfortable enough to like leave the house without setting it. It's held up really, really well. The only thing is my forehead. Oh no, that's just, see the dew of the foundation almost just kind of tricks me into thinking I need to touch up because I'm so used to having powder on my face. But it's just a very healthy dew. Let's see how it's looking around my nose. It's still completely flawless around my nose area, around my crevices as well. It just is so smooth. This is 7-hour wear. Just completely buttery smooth. This is 7.5-hour wear of the Dose of Colors foundation. I really love the way it looks. I look like I just have a dew to my skin. Like that's the best way I know how to describe it. And it's just like a very serum-like foundation. I really enjoy it. And I will definitely be keeping this in my everyday routine for my foundation, 100%. It just feels so lovely on the skin, and that's exactly what I'm looking for in a foundation. From 6 a.m. till 4:30 is what I need my foundation to last for. That way it can last me throughout work, and that's exactly what this is definitely showing me that it can do, and still look exactly how when I first applied it. Usually with some of my even favorite foundations, either I have to be very careful with touching my face, of course, just like moving my hair behind my ears if I like touch it or anything like that. Sometimes I can't remove it off the setting spray that I use, like I had mentioned, and just sometimes it can just look a little bit worn in. Usually my smile lines and under my eyes from smiling so heavily, I do get a lot of creases under my eyes where it's very prominent, or sometimes I will have my eyeshadow crease or the mascara kind of transfer onto my lids, since I do have very creasy lids. So today has been an amazing day to try out this foundation. I was out, I wore it for 7 hours, and I feel like usually the foundations that I like to wear usually last around 6 or so hours, and then they look kind of nothing like how this one looks. You can definitely tell it's a little bit worn in, unless I apply a thin layer, of course. So I can still make my favorite foundations work for me, but yeah. This was so lovely, and I'm so happy that I tried it. The sponge is a definite go. I love the way this feels. I'm the type of person that usually I'll use one side. I used to use both, but especially since I did the foundation also under my eyes, it just made the most sense for me to do this. Maybe if I did need concealer, but usually if I end up using this side, then I'll usually apply my whole foundation with the one side, just because I like that by the time you get to the concealer that you've already had product kind of sitting in the sponge, so then it doesn't kind of take away the coverage from under your eyes or kind of where you're placing it all over your face. So it kind of like blends everything in nice and smooth. That way the color from your eye to your foundation shade kind of like blends in seamlessly. So that's kind of like what I like to do. And then maybe sometimes I'll use my sponge to kind of powder under my eyes. But I did buy the Real Techniques powder sponge as well, so it's like a velvety sponge. So yeah, I've tried this for all over powder and I really enjoy it as well. And I like that when Nicole from Real Techniques demoed it, she had her sponge wet and she dipped into her Charlotte Tilbury powder and it didn't leave a wet mark, so that was really nice to see. No matter how much I kind of poke it, it doesn't take off any of the foundation whatsoever, or even the blush or anything like that. Because like I said, sometimes I'll have like touched my face by mistake with my hands, just trying to push my hair back or anything like that, and it'll completely remove the spot that I had accidentally touched on my face. So yeah, this is definitely a winner in my books. This is my holy grail foundation right now with the way that it's performing. So I can only imagine how this might look set, but I'm really loving the way that it looks very dewy right now and not transferring, and just the way it feels. It's moving with my face, so I really appreciate that, because again, I'm smiling, I'm moving, I'm just not trying to worry about how I'm making my foundation kind of crack. It's definitely not happening with this foundation, and I can really appreciate that. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.